Hey, it's Harry here. Can't believe I'm doing this shit. But, I heard the old man, the old fat boy from Chattahoochee on the feed when I stole old Gabe's cell phone this morning. And I thought to myself, let me show him how it's done. So he got me here. And I invited one of my oldest friends from my neck of the woods, old Rick Reuschel. He's here with us as well, and we're watching the 1989 Royal Rumble. Howard Finkel, the announcer there, he's giving people the rundown of the rules of this thing, where I guess much of these jacked up wrestling types come to the ring one at a time and try to throw each other around. And now he's announcing the first entrant. It's Demolition Axe. Got a face full of silver and black paint, and looks like he bit his tongue. He's got a little blood in his mouth, I think. But he's full of sparkles, too. I don't know what the hell that's all about. I'll tell you who didn't have any sparkles on him. Oh, Stoney. Stoney refused to be even the slightest bit feminine, if you understand my meaning, Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Howard, Harry. I figured I would step in here. Look at this. This is really interesting. These guys, I know from back in my playing days, we would watch wrestling in the clubhouse, my time with the Cubs with you, by the way, Harry, was fantastic. Even though I don't know that our time coincided, but these two are tag team wrestling partners. This is Axe Demolition versus Smash and Demolition, and so far it's a bit of a stalemate. They just went right at each other. As you know, Harry, they like to tell people that there are no friends or allies in the Royal Rumble, only enemies in competition, So the two of these guys, they just went right at each other. I'll tell you, the crowd is awful well lit at this thing. You can see a whole lot of people out in the crowd that look a lot like the folks that used to come to baseball games. Not like the cretins that you see in the wrestling shows now. For the time that I was sleeping on Gabe's couch, the green one there in the den, not the one in the living room, because that's just too small for me. I mean, so is the green one, but the green one's softer. And I can stretch out if I hide underneath it, and there's more room under there, But anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, how ugly people are nowadays. Yeah, I find that to be the case, don't you, Harry? Well, I'll tell you, what I know is that women used to be far more attractive, and I don't know if that's just because I didn't have too much problem with taking them home when I was younger. Now that I'm dead, you understand, it's a little bit harder for me to pick up the ladies out in the wild, as it were. When I would go down to the Viagra Triangle, I'd have no problem. Me and Jack Brickhouse used to hang out at Russian Division all the time, grab a nice slice of Lou Malnati's, which, if you understand Chicago and Chicago-style pizza, it's ridiculous for me to even say something like that, because you can't pick up one slice and eat it like a slice of pizza. You burn your hands off, and just cheese all over the place. Oh, Gabe, he loves that kind of shit, though. He's a real foodie, you understand. Oh, look at this guy. I know him. That's Andre the Giant coming in at number 3 in this 1989 Royal Rumble, led to the ring by the greatest manager of all time. I met him 3 or 4 different times when I was calling baseball games there in Chicago. He's from there. Great guy. Reminds me a lot of myself, if you understand my meaning there, Really interesting here. It looks like Axe and Smash going to work together, try to take care of the big man, because he is the big man. Double clothesline takes him off his feet. And now they motion to the crowd that they're going to try to get rid of him in one swell foop, as they say. Well, I used to when I was living down in Effingham, I used to have a guy I went to school with named Andre. He wasn't a giant or nothing, but he had hair a lot like Andre's hair, kind of curly on top, and he had big old mutton chops, and everybody did gang up on him the way these two guys seem to be ganging up on Andre. I wonder if old Blake has some stories about Andre the Giant. I just love Blake's stories. He has a lot of them, but he seems to lean real heavily on the ones about how, he might as well be black or this or that because he grew up in a black neighborhood. Yeah, we get it. You're hardcore. Thank you, pal. That's real good. I'm glad you feel the need to explain that to everybody as often as you possibly can, instead of just, owning the fact that you're a southern white kid and you just happen to have more advanced views than most of the people that you went to school with or live around or things like that. Hey, look at this. It's Kurt Hennig. He's Mr. Perfect. He just showed up here at number 4. He's taking his time getting to the ring. I can't really speak on Blake's whether he considers himself to be of the African American persuasion or not, but I can tell you this: Mr. Perfect's one hell of an athlete. Although I find it a little bit weird when I see him. He's not in his singlet, you understand. He's in a pair of regular old tights, blue tights with blue knee pads, And Andre just eliminated Smash with one hand. So we're down to 3 in the ring right now. It's Axe and Mr. Perfect and The Undertaker. Oh, no, not The Undertaker. It's Andre the Giant. I misspoke. That happens more and more now that the boys don't seem to get together and record their podcast no more. It's like the glasses, see? Doing it again. It's like the glasses stopped working their mojo, So, can't really get around as easily as I used to, and I mix up my words and things. We're doing this stuff, Gabe and Blake called on us to fill in every once in a while, because Gabe's going through a move, Looks like he sold the house. Looks like he sold the house that he and Bob have got there in Michigan. I forget what quadrant of the state they're in, but geographically they are in that state. That much I know. Andre just punched Perfect right in the face. It was something. It was something to behold, I'll tell you right now. Well, it's interesting, Harry, that you bring that up. Now we got Ronnie Garvin running to the ring. I remember Rugged Ronnie Garvin back when he was the NWA World Champion. He beat Ric Flair for that belt. And, I didn't even know he was in the WWF at any point. But they got Ronnie Garvin and Mr. Perfect and Axe. They got the old Andre there tied up in the top rope, and they're trying to pick him up from the bottom and get him up and over. But the physics of that seem like a silly way to try to do it, because he's not going to turn completely around and over the top rope, and if you did do that, you might break his neck and kill the poor bastard. Yeah, I got to tell you, I just, matches like this, I guess I can appreciate for the surprise of it all, trying to figure out who's going to come out next and whatnot, and doing all that sort of thing. But I also, at the same time, really miss the kind of one-on-one competition of one man versus another, and them just getting to know the body of the other man, and slow caresses of the skin as they try their best to pin him to the mat. Those are the sorts of things I really appreciate. You understand, though, if you ever listen to the program along with Gabe and Blake, you understand where I'm coming from there. It's It's pretty easy calculus at the end of the day. We got 5 seconds left till the next one comes in. I'll tell you right now, it's a real a barn burner here so far. Axe is punching Andre and ain't nothing happening. Andre no-selling is what they call that. Oh, here comes Greg the Hammer Valentine. Hey, don't forget Jimmy Hart's along with him. I heard Jimmy Hart a little bit earlier today. He just ran out to the ring with him and then scooted on back to the back. But earlier on today, it was Jimmy Hart and old Credence from Chattahoochee. We talked about a little earlier, that fat tub of goo running his cock gobbler for an hour or so. Now you get to listen to my penis poker and old Rick here getting excited at all the different words I use to define and talk about the male organ. You know, Ronnie Garvin got eliminated by Andre the Giant. There, it was kind of a mess, but he's gone. Valentine and Perfect teaming up on Andre in the corner. 2 big old hands around Greg Valentine's neck. Hey, you know, I remember the first time that I ever met Stoney. That reminds me. We were at the corner of Lawrence and Kedzie up on the north side, and we were getting some Mediterranean food. Baba ganoush, one of my favorites. That's an eggplant dish that they just smash up with some tahini and some sesame and the like, and you put it on bread. It's a real delight. But anyway, we were up there getting some kebabs and some baba ganoush, and I remember Stoney got so upset at the waiter, he grabbed him by the neck and said, "Hey, do you understand this is Harry Caray? This is the famous Harry Caray. You don't treat Harry Caray like this." Here comes the Snake Man running to the ring. Blue tights, going directly after Andre the Giant on this one. Caught his leg on the bottom rope. Looks like he might have hurt himself. I'm not real sure. I'd have to go back in time and ask him. He's dead now, isn't he? Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Harry. No, Jake ain't dead. He's still walking around and lying to people and smoking cigarettes with an oxygen tank hooked up to his nose and, you know, all those things. But no, he's not dead. It's the darndest thing. It's like everybody around him seems to die, but he doesn't, which, you know, I can relate to you pretty easy, you know, growing up with Dad the way I did. You understand, like, you know, he's bringing the girls home every third day or so. I imagine we went through 70 or 80 of them in my time with Dad there in the ranch in Effingham. God rest its soul. I mean, I don't know that a place can have a soul, but I think you understand my meaning. The fact that it's gone is really hard, but at least I found Steven out of the thing. I know Blake's a big fan of Steven. They hung out one night a couple weeks ago, and I got a great little report card on their activities from Blake. They went over to one of them local hamburger spots there in Wichita that Blake loves so much. So I'm really glad they got that time together. Andre, a couple minutes ago, just stomped directly on Jake's belly, and it looked like he hurt him real bad, and now he's choking old Jake with the tag rope in the corner, looking like he's just draining the life out of him. And now somebody new's going to come out here. Who's that? It's the outlaw Ron Bass. Boy, oh boy. He doesn't have no hair no more because Brutus Beefcake chopped it off here recently, from what I can tell. And Andre just eliminated Jake the Snake. Holy cow. I expected Jake to be one of the ones that'd be in there till the very end, you understand. Everybody loved Jake the Snake Roberts. I loved him. I know I did. Anyway, the only other Jake that I knew was Jake Arrieta, young kid. I don't even know what words I'm saying anymore. It's fine. Everything's fine. You know who Outlaw Ron Bass reminds me of, though, from a baseball player perspective? You look at him, he's got the bald head, and he's got the black tights and the big build there. Reminds me of old Steve Balboni. Obviously, Outlaw Ron Bass ain't no Italian, but I almost said a word I shouldn't say, so you should be glad I didn't do that. But he doesn't look Italian or nothing, but boy, oh boy, he's got the same build as old Balboni does. He's an archetype of a man. You understand? That's the way I figure it. Is he's just he's a guy who's the right size to hit home runs pretty regularly, but a little bit sloppy at the same time. Not like all these athletes today. I miss the John Crooks of the world and the Rod Becks of the world and the Steve Balbonis, maybe even Bob Horner. Maybe we can get Bob in here at some point. I don't know. I don't think he was too much of a wrestling fan, but I know I was. We're down to 1 second left here. Who's coming in now? Let's find out who we got there. Is that... Oh, it's the Heartbreak Kid. Before he was the Heartbreak Kid, one half of the Rockers. It's Shawn Michaels wearing purple trunks with a zebra belt and zebra boots and some tassels there down at the bottom, looking quite like a child, if I'm not mistaken here. Hey, it looks like Axe just got eliminated by Mr. Perfect there, so number 1 is out of the Royal Rumble here. And Hennig just threw Shawn Michaels over, but Shawn Michaels, he skins the cat, as they would say later on, and he pulled himself back in over the top rope with a little flip and gets himself back in there. Drop kick's perfect, and he flips over the top rope, but flips right back into the ring. It was an unbelievable looking drop kick. I'll tell you, they're really Mr. Hennig really gave his all to make old Shawn look real good there. I'll tell you what, you could even see here how much they really wanted this man to come out and do more than he did with old Marty Jannetty there. I wonder about Marty Jannetty and how his leg's doing. They showed that foot of his on that Dark Side of the Ring show. Gabe watches a lot of real dark television these days because he needs to escape the pain of his own reality. And so I watch along with him. But they showed old Marty's foot on that show. It looked like that damn thing been down an alligator's mouth and puked on out. It was bad. Bad looking leg, foot sort of thing. I wonder if Shawn feels bad that he's the one that got the good side of things and Marty has suffered so much. Hey, look who's coming to the ring now. It's a bushwhacker, one of them. I think this is Luke. If I'm not mistaken, this will be old Luke coming to the ring, doing his little bushwhacker strut. And what's this? Jake is back. Jake's back, and he just threw that snake in the ring. Andre got a whiff of it and just threw his damn self over the top rope. What a turn of events. You gotta believe that Andre was the favorite to win this thing before this happened, but he just basically eliminated himself from this thing. This is from the time before they were giving away world title opportunities to the winner of the Royal Rumble. So really all this is for is bragging rights at the end of the day. So at this point, with no Andre, this is anybody's game. Nobody really knows what the hell's going to happen now, least of all me, because I didn't read any spoilers on this bad boy, and I was too damn busy doing spring training in the summer, in the late winter of '89, So I wasn't really following the product the way I would in the future. So we'll see what happens now. Odds are pretty much even across the board here, as far as I'm concerned. You got Luke and Greg the Hammer Valentine going at it. And Shawn Michaels recovering, and Perfect and Outlaw Ron Bass kind of going at it a little bit. Double noggin knocker from Sean to Mr. Perfect and the Outlaw Ron Bass in 3 seconds till we see somebody new here in the ring. Buzzers going off, and who we got here? Oh, it's my turn. Oh, this is one of my favorites right here. Here comes Jimmy Hart, who I've yet to meet in person, really. But I do look forward to the time that I get to as Jimmy runs to the back again. But we've got the Honky Tonk Man in the ring here. Tag teaming right now with Outlaw Ron Bass, taking care of Luke. Now he's getting some shoulders in the corner from Mr. Perfect. But I gotta tell you, Honky Tonk Man's my kind of man, if you understand my meaning. He's got that full head, shock full of dark hair and them sideburns on the side. And, I always was partial to Elvis Presley, and he resembles him quite a bit. If I'm not being silly about the whole thing, I think that's probably why they decided to have him carry the guitar and put notes on his butt and on the tights and whatnot. So I'm just real glad to see Honky in this match. I underestimated his abilities, and I think at the time when I was watching, I didn't really care much for him. But now, in retrospect, like with Gabe, I find him to be far more entertaining. Hey, can someone explain to me why the big purple banners that say Royal Rumble up in the cheap seats there, they're flying back and forth like there's a fan on them, back and forth and back, like some kind of earthquake happening. Mr. Perfect about to throw Honky Tonk Man over the top, but gets his eyes raked in return, keep himself in the ring. Ring is getting real tight there, and we got Arriba. It's Tito Santana coming to the ring now. He's got those trunks with the sombrero on the butt again. I gotta tell you, I'm not a real big fan of that. I think it's borderline racist, if I'm being honest. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Harry. I don't find it to be all that terribly racist or nothing. Well, I gotta tell you, you're wrong about that, Rick. That's about as racist as it gets, diminishing an entire race of people just down to one cultural touch point. It's kind of the definition of it, if you get my meaning. Well, I guess that could be true, but hey, let me ask you a question. Do you guess about just about everything? Or do you know anything at all? You just run that cock gobbler, as old Creedon said this morning, run that mouth of yours around, and you don't say much of nothing, do you? No, I didn't think so. You don't have much gumption about you. Can't decide what way you like to do things. Can't decide how hard things are or easy they are. Just kind of, I guess this and I guess that. Why don't you do this? Why don't you read a book or two and come back and we'll talk about it, all right? Once you know something, then you can come and broadcast with the big dogs. Well, I understand your meaning. I never claimed to be much of a broadcaster, Harry. I'm just here because Gabe invited me to come and do this thing so that the two of us could fill in a little bit for Gabe and Blake. And them Patreon folks, they were demanding some content, and they like the Royal Rumbles, and so I think we're just doing them in order, and we're filling in for old Gabe and Blake doing this. That was Bad News Brown came into the ring. For a second, though, I thought it was Blake because, he looks like a badass black guy. And that's how Blake fancies himself, I think. Oh, that's a real shame. Honky Tonk Man just got eliminated by Bushwhacker Luke and Tito Santana. Hopefully hopefully we get some more studly guys in there, ones that I like to look at a little bit better than the rest of these guys that are in there now, you know. Hey, I like that you stood up for yourself, but do me a favor as we continue down this road of whatever the hell this is. Just be a bit more forceful about what you like and what you don't like, and what you do and what you don't do, and less maybes and sortas and less passive language, you understand. You got to be a real man here, right? I don't care who you like, if it's Steven or Stephanie, but just be more forceful in your language, okay? Or else I'm going to go fucking insane. Well, I suppose we can make that work. Shawn Michaels just came up off the top rope with a double axe handle. And Gorilla Monsoon, the commentator here on the program, said that was a very high-risk maneuver because if you're up above the top rope, you could very easily find yourself over the top rope and out of the match completely. You know? Buzzer's going off. Looks like we got somebody else coming out now. Oh, look at that. It's Shawn Michaels' tag team partner, Marty Jannetty. Before his foot was hurting so bad. He might have been in some pain here. I don't know, but now they're leveling the playing field, and we got another rocker in the Royal Rumble. And those signs up there that Harry mentioned are still flying back and forth like they're on some kind of trajectory, like they got a propeller attached to them. I don't know what's happening. It's the darndest thing I ever seen, though. I got to tell you. Double back elbow from the Rockers to outlaw Ron Bass, and then a double drop kick to eliminate him from the match all entirely. Marty Jannetty and Kurt Hennig now lock up, and Marty gets the best of Kurt in the corner there, and here comes Greg Valentine to get him some, and Marty unleashes a couple of big punches to the jaw of the hammer, and then a double noggin knocker to the Mr. Perfect and the hammer at the same time. I always used to love that double noggin knocker because I used to pretend that I was one of the guys getting noggin knocked, and I would pucker up and accidentally kiss the other guy, you know? Just the part homosexual of me, though. You know, you understand. Not the part that's not homosexual. You guys get it. This is why I love doing the shows, because I know all you listeners out there, all you fellers that listen to the show, that you understand old Rick Reuschel. You understand Big Daddy better than just about anybody could. Hey! What in the hell is going on? You started talking about kissing other men, and here comes the Macho Man running as fast as he can to the ring, sprinting, straight up sprinting. If you believe it, goes right after Bad News Brown and just lets him have it. Knees to the face, crowd going wild. Macho throws him to the corner, back elbow, takes off the bandana and the sunglasses, and big stomps to old Bad News Brown here. Greg the Hammer Valentine cuts him off there and gives him some big old forearm blows to the back of the neck to bring him to his knees. But boy, oh boy, Macho Man always was one of my favorites. Him along with the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. You know, I saw him the other day up here, and he was going on and on about how all these people on Earth keep trying to channel him to talk to him in the afterlife, and how all he wanted to talk about while he was on Earth is about his racist nonsense. And I told him, I said, Hulkster, here's what you got to remember. If you don't act like a racist, people won't treat you like one. You understand. You get it. Double axe handle off the second rope to the hammer. That was old Macho Man Tito holding the hammer for Mach. Big elbow to Mr. Perfect. Get out of the corner for Macho Man. Macho Man wearing the orange trunks with yellow boots. One of my favorite combinations for this guy. Jesse Ventura chiming in. The governor looks like Mr. Perfect's been in there longer than anybody else. Which doesn't surprise me. Man's in fantastic specimen. Quite the condition, wouldn't you say, Rick? Yeah, I mean, blondes just aren't my type, that's all. You understand. Here comes Bobby the Brain Heenan and Arn Anderson running to the ring. This might be the only Royal Rumble Arn Anderson was in. I'm not real sure, but he just got super kicked by Shawn Michaels. And while I was talking about Arn Anderson, Macho Man gave a back body drop to old Greg the Hammer Valentine and threw him out of the ring. And now you got a real weird combination here. Macho Man and Arn Anderson just double back elbowed Shawn Michaels out of the match. Strange bedfellas in a match like this one, you know. Not real friends nor nothing, but Arn Anderson and Macho Man doing the thing there. I don't know that's ever happened since. My goodness. Maybe in WCW. I was a big WCW fan. I really liked the New World Order. It's because they were the bad guys, but they were cool, so you wanted to cheer for them, you know? That was like 97, 98, the New World Order, the NWO. I really liked them a lot. It felt like you were doing something you weren't supposed to do. And, you know, I like that. I like that sort of thing. Hey, you know what I like? Arn Anderson reminds me a lot of me. You want to know why? Well, yeah, I do. I would like to know, Harry. Why does Arn Anderson remind you of you? Because he never quite looks his age, you know. Here he's got to be, early 30s at the most, you know. Looks exactly the same as he does 20 years later in his early 50s. Man never seemed to age. And hey, look at that. Out comes the other half of the Brainbusters, old Tully Blanchard. Think this definitely is the only Royal Rumble Tully Blanchard was in. But now we got another full tag team in there. Shawn Michaels is gone, so Marty Jannetty's on his own, but we've got the Brainbusters in there together now. That seems like bad news, no pun intended, because Bad News Brown's in there too, you know, for the rest of the competitors. I got to tell you, Rick, I can't help but notice there's a slightly similar twang to my voice and your voice, and I really wonder if that's just because the guy that's doing the voices does them similarly, or if it's because we share some sort of regional dialect. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Harry. I imagine it's probably a little bit of both, but I am from Effingham, Illinois, which is, I don't know, about 120, 130 miles from the state line with Missouri. And if I remember right, you were from Southern Illinois as well, so we have a very similar sort of slight Southern twang, but still a lot of Midwestern sort of colloquialisms that we use in our speech and what have you. Like I think we both pronounce program because it's just a little bit easier to say. Like, I know, you know, Gabe once told the story about his mom. His mom really loved to pronounce things with a sort of Midwest twang to them. We got Marty Jannetty here hanging by his toes, the top rope, and finally he gets eliminated by Tully Blanchard. But anyway, Gabe's mom, here comes the Hulkster. Oh, here comes the Hulkster. Hulkster's running to the ring. I'm so excited. Oh, my goodness, he's got his bandana on and everything. Kurt Hennig getting a couple of punches there, and Hulkster saves his buddy, Macho Man Randy Savage, and out goes Kurt Hennig. Out goes Mr. Perfect. Big punch to Arn. Big punch to Tully. Arn and Tully double noggin knocker from the Hulkster. My goodness gracious. Bad News Brown now getting choked by the Hulkster's bandana and big old punches. Oh my goodness. He came in like they would say a house of fire. Hulkster trying to pick up Bad News Brown and get him over. Looks like Bad News Brown is having none of it. Anyway, as I was talking about, Gabe used to tell a story about his mom when she would say the word window, instead of saying window, she would say window. Would you open the window? Or if she was playing pinochle, she would call it a widow instead of a widow, right? So yeah, the Midwest, they really like to cut off the ends of those words and pronounce the vowels improperly. That's why I say program. Hey, that was a lot of inside baseball. I guess I should expect it from a pitcher, journeyman pitcher like you, Big Daddy. So thanks for all the in-depth sort of phenomenon there. Is that the right word? See, there it is again. It's not because it's late at night when this is getting recorded. No, sir. It's because I'm just out of it because the glasses are losing their luster. You understand? Next up here, coming into the ring, who do we got? We got Bushwhacker Butch running on down in his Bushwhacker style. That's two tag teams in the match now. You got the Bushwhackers and the Brainbusters. And, of course, we got the Mega Powers, so I guess in a way that's three tag teams. And then you got Bad News Brown doing things in there as well. Looks like the Hulkster and Bad News just teamed up to get rid of Bushwhacker Luke. We got Arn and Tully over there trying to get rid of Bushwhacker Butch. Arn just punched Hogan in the kidney from behind. Kick and a punch in the corner. My goodness, what a melee this is turning into. Savage and Bad News Brown going at it. Arn with Hogan in the corner. Turns his attention over to Tully. Picks him up. Tully kicks Hogan in the gut. And Bad News stomps Macho Man right in the face. Tully Blanchard, hangman's noose on the top rope by the Hulkster. Gorilla press style, Bushwhacker Butch just gave Hogan a nice punch to the face and a double chop to the throat. If you know anything about wrestling history, the Bushwhackers used to be the sheep herders. Sheep herders were a little more, violent. You see a little bit of that coming out of Butch here with that double throat chop to the Hulkster. And we got Bushwhacker Butch and Tully Blanchard teaming up on the Hulkster until he gives him a double noggin knocker and then goes after Arn with a big old elbow, sends him off the ropes in a big boot. Gorilla says, size 16 right to the kisser. Oh, here comes one of my favorites. I really did appreciate this one. It's Koko Beware. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit upset, if I'm being honest. I would have loved to have seen Frankie come along with Koko to the ring, but Koko's in there by himself. And interestingly, in red and yellow, just like the Hulkster here, which I find to be something that the Hulkster might not have loved too much, given his disdain for the African-American community. Speaking of which, we have some black-on-black violence in the ring right now, which Blake would really be upset about. It's Bad News Brown and Koko Beware going at it, It's kind of an even deal right now. Bad News taking a slight sort of topping Koko in that way. Inverted atomic drop from the Macho Man to Arn Anderson, and then the Hulkster gets Koko on his shoulders and throws him right over the top rope, which is, again, no surprise given his predilection to racist thoughts and things. And now Bushwhacker Butch is out of the match too, because the Hulkster has had enough of that nonsense, you understand. Now the Brainbusters are tag team and Hogan here, got him in the corner. And we've lost audio on the show here. Oh, it came back now. That's good. So we got Hogan, the Brainbusters, Bad News Brown, and Macho Man. And 8 seconds till we see the next participant here in this 1989 Royal Rumble. Hey, it's the Warlord. That's a tall drink of water, isn't it? The Hulkster just double clotheslined both the Brainbusters right over the top rope. That's the end of that. And Bad News Brown is doing his best to get rid of the Macho Man. They're struggling over on the other side. Warlord was in the ring for all of a second or so, and he gets eliminated by the Hulkster. And then the Hulkster eliminates Bad News Brown and his best buddy, his supposed best buddy, Macho Man Randy Savage. And here is trouble in paradise, my man. The Hulkster tries to call timeout. Macho Man sticks his finger in his face, and we got a full-on shoving match. Here comes Elizabeth. Boy, oh boy, that's a beautiful woman if I ever saw one. I just find it to be a big shame that the two of these boys couldn't work out their differences. I mean, look, Macho Man's real upset, but who can blame him, really? But who can blame the Hulkster, too? It's every man for himself in the Royal Rumble. They knew the score here. And Miss Liz here's trying to keep the peace, trying to keep the Macho Man from being upset, and Hogan trying to explain it wasn't about you, it was about him, and you just were collateral damage. If you ask me, that's just a bad friend, if I'm being honest. And now the Macho Man says, let's let bygones be bygones and shake hands and we'll move on. They got 10 seconds left before someone else comes in. Macho Man and Hulkster hug it out in the middle of the ring. What a beautiful thing. My goodness. What a great moment for the Hulkster and Macho Man. Macho Man headed out, and here comes the big boss man. Hey, Harry, if Gabe ever wanted to do a Halloween costume, Big Boss Man would probably be the best bet, because he's big and fat, and he got a big old head, and he's got facial hair, so Gabe wouldn't have to shave nor nothing. He could really pull that off. But what a beautiful display, I got to tell you, of camaraderie and sportsmanship between the Hulkster and the Macho Man, with probably no future problems in their in the near future. I can't imagine there being any issues at all, as the Hulkster just lays waste to Big Boss Man, just shoves his head into the mat, big body slam on the big man, and my goodness, what a match we've got here. There's just two men in the ring now, just the Hulkster and the Big Boss Man. Hey, I met Ray Traylor once. You did? I did. I was in what's that town in South Dakota? Where all the motorcycles are? Sturgis, South Dakota. Why I was there, I could never tell you. Here, I'll tell you. It's because me and Phil Rizzuto's wife took a little trip to Mount Rushmore, and on the way home, we saw all these motorcycles, and Cora's a big fan of a motorcycle, so she asked me to drive that direction. And when I said, I don't want to go out of my way, she took her pinky finger and stuck it inside my butthole. And from that point on, it was her decision exactly where we were going, you understand. Anyway, Hogan's got the Boss Man on his heels. And here comes Akeem the African Dream, which, again, with Hogan's predilection to not like the Africans, I'm guessing Akeem's going to feel the brunt of his upsetness. You know who Akeem reminds me of? Is that Blake character. Thinks he's black or something. I don't know. Might have something to do with his upbringing and that that community of his down in Saxton, where he was a victim of circumstance, as it were. Yeah, we got the Twin Towers here teaming up on the Hulkster, and it's got to be a real difficult time in there for Hogan. And you got one guy who looks just like Gabe, and the other guy who's, got to be confusing for the man, because, he keeps saying he's African, but he looks white. So I got to imagine that the Hulkster's real confused about what's happening in his brain and how he's feeling about everything, because I'm sure he would love to team up with Hakeem, the African Dream, if only he wasn't from Africa. My goodness, both of them smashed into him in that corner, and just a big old man. And that is the end of that. The Twin Towers just eliminated the Hulkster. But what's going to happen here? Because these are a tag team. Hogan pulls the boss man under the bottom rope. There's 10 seconds left until we see the next one. And Hakeem came out and is taking care of business for Hogan being such a sore loser. Hey, here comes the barber. Buddies with Hogan, in real life and everything. I remember back in Florida when I'd be down there for spring training, and I would go to Tampa, and I'd watch Eddie Boulder, and Terry Boulder. They were a tag team for a while. That's Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. They've been friends for longer than longer than I can remember. That's for sure. Oh. And the Hulkster does it again. He's got a habit of eliminating people from Royal Rumbles when he's already been eliminated. A lot of heel tactics in this mega over babyface, if you understand my meaning. Yeah, it's hard to figure exactly what happens with the Hulkster in terms of why people love it when he does things that are like what a heel would do. I mean, look, at the end of the day, though, I understand it, because I'm a pretty good guy, I made my living throwing baseballs, and all the while I have all of this darkness in my past. Dad did what he did, and I had to be a part of it, a party to it in a lot of ways, because I was born into it, I didn't have much of a choice. They just threw me into it and made me believe what I had to believe to get through. And, they're not a day I don't regret those girls and the things that we did to them. Juicing them, you understand. Hey, what a dark moment. Oh, my goodness. I don't know why Gabe and Blake put me together with this dipshit, but I'm feeling pretty depressed, if I'm being honest. And now you got a Royal Rumble towards the end of the thing. I got to imagine. I don't know how much time's left, but we've been going at it for a while. And you got Hakeem, the African Dream. You got Ed Boulder, Brutus Beefcake, and who was a male stripper and then turned into a barber somehow. I don't know. And Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster. My goodness. You got Credence. Excuse me. Credence. You got Credence talking about his cock gobbler, and then you got a cock in the ring walking around like the cock of the walk in the Red Rooster. And now you got them Beefcake and Rooster tag team and Hakeem in the corner. This is just bad business, man. Got one leg over the rope here, but Hakeem's having none of it. The big man says, "No, sir. No Terry Taylor, no Brutus Beefcake gonna get me out of this match." Earlier today, Jimmy and the other guy. Who was the other guy? Jimmy and Gosh, who did Jimmy do that? Oh, Creedence. Jimmy and Creedence did a version of this. Creedence and Akeem look an awful lot alike, is what I was getting at there. My goodness, what a world we live in. Looks like they're going to try to get him out again, and by flipping him over the top rope with his arms underneath, might kill him like they tried to do with Andre earlier. And here comes the Barbarian, the tag team of the Warlord. He's on the way with Mr. Fuji. Another one of the racist stereotypes they like to use here in the 1980s WWF, you know. Well, see, I don't understand why the Barbarian came in and just tried to help Akeem the African Dream by beating on Brutus and then kicked Akeem in the belly. That seems like a pretty bad strategy, and I think Jesse Ventura mentioned the same thing there. I don't know why that happened the way that it did, but boy, oh boy, those signs, they are flying around like crazy up there. I don't understand. Why are they floating around like that? Did they not strap them down adequately? Is it the air conditioning in the arena? I don't know. But it is very distracting, I got to tell you. As Akeem, he lets the Red Rooster have it, and the Barbarian's giving it to Brutus the Barber Beefcake in the background. I will say this, man. Barbarian's got a real fine physique. You know, almost as fine as Elizabeth's earlier, you know. Big splash there from Akeem onto the Red Rooster. My goodness, the wind's got to be completely knocked out of him. That's what Gorilla said, and I don't disagree with him if I'm being honest. And then you got Akeem or Creedence, whichever one this is, dancing in the middle of the ring about it. Seems like a silly waste of time, if you ask me. Why not just pick him up and throw him out, you know? Down to 1 second. Where we got here? We're almost to the end, I gotta believe. Oh, my goodness. That is a big man. What's his name? Hey, I think that's Big John Studd. He and the Andre the Giant came in and they would body slam each other and take money from each other and things. He's a big man, gotta be 6'6", 6'7", something like that, and just a massive human being. He comes in immediately and throttles the Red Rooster out of the way and is giving Akeem the what for there in the corner. Throws Akeem's leg up over the top rope, and he's going to try to get after it and get Akeem out of there pretty quick, it looks like to me, which is probably easier said than done, even for a man the size of Big John Studd. Well, Studd sure does say it all, doesn't it? My goodness. Between that John Studd, whew, that flowing blonde hair and that big old barrel chest, between him and that Barbarian looking all slick and oiled up, I'd hardly know who to root for. Was this John Studd guy a good guy? Because the fans seemed to like him a lot, but he was being awful mean when he came in there. Like he beat the heck out of Terry Taylor. But I guess that's par for the course, especially in a match where it's every man for himself, right? Excuse me, I had to take a drink. I've been doing this for nearly an hour. So John Studd was number 27 of 30. Number 28 of 30 is on the way now, and it's Hercules. My goodness. Even more big muscles and slick bodies. I got to tell you, this wrestling thing seems like it was made for me. Hey, you got that right. I got to tell you, I might not ever come back and do anything with these assholes ever again after they tied me to your dipshit ass. My goodness. I know you said earlier that you liked your time with the Cubbies. Here's the thing. You also said that we worked together. I didn't start with them until after you were gone, you dummy. So, just stop talking, let me take over here, and I'll do the rest of the show. We got Hercules perched on the top rope and Terry Taylor doing his best to get rid of him. Two former members of the Bobby Heenan family, which is wild to me. Both good guys going after each other because it's every man for himself. You still got Akeem in the corner and Big John Studd doing his best to get him up over that top rope the way Sammy Sosa gets a home run ball over the center field fence, you know. And then you got Brutus the Barber Beefcake and the Barbarian. Here comes the Red Rooster doing his best to help out Beefcake get rid of the Barbarian and make things easier on themselves, you understand. Hercules helping out Akeem in the corner there. Seems like a silly thing to do with a man as big as Big John Studd. And Big John Studd stiffly reminds him that this is not the place to try to assert yourself, you understand. And we got number 29 headed on out here in a matter of seconds. 3, 2, 1. And there's the buzzer. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who's next? The model, Rick Martel, the other half of that tag team with Tito Santana. You know, what I noticed is they have those matching tights where they got lightning bolts on their butts. And Tito's got a sombrero, but Rick Martel, does Rick Martel got a plate of poutine? No, he doesn't. He's got the Canadian flag. Tell me it's not racist now, you dipshit. Well, what did I tell you? I said don't start talking. I've got this the rest of the way. All right, you just sit there and stroke your wank. I don't even know what that means, stroke your wank. That seems like a silly thing to say. Again, it's these glasses, you know. They become uncalibrated when the boys don't get together enough and do things on their own. But that's okay. I don't mind. You know, earlier Blake was talking a lot about being intellectually honest and not lying to people. The way I figure it, Rick, is you've had a lifetime of lying to yourself, and that's why you find yourself in the position you find yourself, making love every night to a man who worked in a freak show on a bed of nails and sleeping under a slovenly, overweight man's house, under his couch, while you slowly watch him die. That's what I figure. You might be right about that, Harry. What I tell you? I said you shut your damn mouth. We're up to number 30. It's 3 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Here's the buzzer. Last entry in the match. Who do we got? Who do we got? It's the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I bet you anything that he paid for his number. I bet he paid for number 30 because everybody's got a price, you know. Excuse me, I got to get a little drink here. I've been doing this for almost an hour now, you know. $1 Million Man going right after Hercules. He and Hercules used to be good buddies, not no more. Hercules figured out that money can't buy everything and certainly can't buy happiness. And so he left the employ of the $1 Million Man, and they broke things off a bit. DiBiase just raked him in the eyes, sent the Red Rooster off. Red Rooster comes back with a big old flying forearm off of the ropes. Virgil, the only manager at ringside right now. Of course, Ventura made it clear that he's not a manager. He's a bodyguard. So there's a big difference as far as the rules go, from what I can tell. DiBiase sent him into the corner. He did a flip over the rope, and that's the end of that. No more Red Rooster in the Royal Rumble. DiBiase seems to be dominating right now. And that's the way I remember it. You had the $1 Million Man, you had the Hulkster. Creighton's earlier, he was talking about the $1 Million Man and the referee, the referee getting the plastic surgery, and that's where he started talking about that honesty piece where, it's real easy to fool somebody who trusts you. You know what I mean? And that's, I think Blake told that story on the program before. You believe it because why would they lie to you? They never lied to you before, so why wouldn't it be the truth, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You understand. I've always felt that way about my dad, Hey, listen here, dipshit. If you open your mouth one more goddamn time while I'm trying to do this thing, I'm going to punch you square in the testes. You're a 79-year-old man. I don't give a shit. I will end you, and I'm already ended. Okay? God damn it. Big Daddy, nothing. Hercules got the big old bear hug on Brutus and gets the double ear clap, and Brutus slaps on the sleeper hold. Herc crawling around the ring, and DiBiase, I think, is about to eliminate 2 men at once. Yep, he sure does. DiBiase and the Barbarian get rid of Brutus and Hercules at the same time, 5 men left in the match. DiBiase, Martel, Barbarian, Akeem the African Dream, and Big John Studd, who seem to just be hugging each other in the corner. Haven't been doing much over there, if I'm being honest. Reminds me of something I saw one time outside of La Pasadita, my favorite taco joint in the city. Two big old men just holding on to each other in the middle of the night, not really doing much, but kissing on each other's necks, You see that a lot, but more especially in Boys Town. La Pasadita's in a different side of town that you didn't expect it. That's why it sticks in my memory the way it does, Barbarian bounces off the ropes coming after Martel. Martel ducks. Barbarian loses it, jumps to the rope, and Martel ends the match for Barbarian here tonight. We're down to 4. Rick Martel, Ted DiBiase, Big John Studd, and Akeem the African Dream. And Rick Martel is just giving it to the $1 Million Man, Got to feed my vocal cords, because it's a long night of talking like this and doing this thing. You'd think I didn't do it for 35 or 40 years. They're nothing. Akeem catches Martel off the ropes and dumps Martel over the top. We're down to 3 here. Akeem, Big John Studd, and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Studd punches Akeem back and forth between DiBiase and Akeem. Big forearms to Akeem. Double axe handle from DiBiase to Big John Studd. Axe handles to the front from Akeem. DiBiase on the ropes. Double axe handle off the second rope. And Big John Studd is still on his feet, but dazed at best. DiBiase giving Akeem instructions like he paid him. I don't know if that's the case, but that's the speculation, My goodness. The governor talking about not just using his body, but using his brain. Avalanche splash in the corner by Hakeem onto Big John Studd. He's going to do it again here, I think. DiBiase saying, we're going to give you money, and John Studd pulls DiBiase in front of himself. And that's the end of that. Studd forearm to the back of Hakeem, and we're down to 2. It's $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and Big John Studd. Who's it going to be? I got to tell you, my money is on DiBiase. He's a bigger star. He's not a bigger man, but he's a bigger star. But I could be wrong. You know, every man for himself and all that. Hey, dog, what are you doing? Get out of there. Tinley, get over here. Come here. I'm down in the basement, you understand, watching this thing on the big old TV. And Gabe's dog went into the unfinished part of the basement. He likes to take dumps in there, and we don't like that. Especially now that we sold the house. You want as little dog poop in the house as possible once the new owners pump in. You understand. I'll hide it in places, but not out in the open. None of that, you know. Big John Studd with a big old right hand to the side of DiBiase's head. Tinley, get over here. Quit walking around. Sit on your butt, please. Thank you so much. Big body slam from Big John Studd. Double underhook. Looks like we're going to get a little suplex. Yep. Double underhook suplex to the $1 Million Man here. Big John Studd smiling something fierce here. Looks like this might be the end of it. Gut wrench suplex. What? Gorilla says he threw him away like a piece of garbage. You understand. Big clothesline. Hey, Harry, can I mention something? Hey, I don't see why not. I'm in a good mood. That's the end of it. Big John Studd is the winner. Virgil just came in, started punching on Big John Studd after he won the thing. Big John Studd's having none of it. Grabs him by the collar. What's he going to do? Big old punch to the top of the head. Throws him off the ropes. And just pops him right in the chest. Another body slam for Virgil, and Virgil's going to take a powder here. I got to understand. I got to believe. Now, what did you want, Rick? What is the problem here? Well, I just wanted to tell you, you were right about everything, about me, about the reason I am the way I am. I'm not going to bother you much no more, but I did want to say that I thank you for letting me be part of this, and I'm glad that beautiful man with the blonde hair won this thing. Holy cow.